Alright everyone, much as claims of disinformation more often than not are the disinformation at this point, the same thing is true with regards to Trump's Madison Square rally. The liberal legacy media right now is livid because, of course, they wanted to cast it off as low energy and small and stuff like that. You know, small Trump, basically. Little baby. Big fat baby. But they can't do that. Because not only did he sell out the venue, there were 3 times as many people standing outside. A rough estimate is about 100,000 people showing up. That's a big rally. It's a lot bigger than anything that Kamala has done or is capable of mustering. Even in a place like New York, it's overloaded with liberal Democrats. You think that she could get 100,000 people to camp out overnight in order to hear her speak? I don't think so. I think she'd get half that. Yeah, she'd probably fill up the venue, but there wouldn't be nearly as many people waiting outside. The legacy media would get lots of drone footage of the huge crowd outside, though. Notice how you're not really getting that from the legacy media at the moment. So they can't attack him on energy. They can't attack him on enthusiasm / crowd size. So what do they choose to do? They're attacking one speaker who said that Puerto Rico was a floating pile of garbage, which is clearly a reference to the dysfunction and corruption of its government, not to Puerto Rican people themselves. But that's what they're casting it off as. So that's cope number 1, taking things out of context. We've seen this before. We're going to see it again over the coming week and a half anyway. It's inevitable that this is going to happen. It's not a surprise. Or they talk about how Trump was engaging in dangerous demagoguery. And obviously, he's trying to recreate Madison Square's Nazi rally from the 1930s. And here's evidence of that. He spoke ill of people that were legally in the country. By the way, Biden coming out, we'll talk about this later, claiming that Elon Musk was illegally working in the United States. Not really. He did enroll in studies in a prompt manner, and he was allowed to do his own tinkering, making, was it Zip2, I think it was called. You are allowed to actually do self-employed gig stuff if you're in the country under a visa. You're just not allowed to get like a regular salaried position. If you're tinkering around and soliciting investment into something you yourself have created, I do not believe that that falls under the standard of work that would be non-permitted on a student visa. Anyways, Biden is being a hypocrite about it because he's always talking about how great illegal immigrants are, and then all of a sudden he has a problem with Elon Musk, while calling Elon Musk the hypocrite. It's hypocrisyception, actually. So they can't attack the size, they can't attack the energy, they don't really have a whole lot in the speech itself to attack, and they totally ignored the ending part, the last few minutes, where he's effectively calling for inter-party and United States civic unity. Because that doesn't sound very Hitler-esque now, does it? The only thing that they can dredge up is the immigration issue, which Trump is winning on anyway. This is why he's not mincing words, by the way. He knows that he's got the upper hand on these issues, and he knows if a person really takes a step back and looks at it, which one is worse? Limitless illegal immigration that's causing crime, and you've got Venezuelan street gangs and terrorists and shit in your country, and a derelict federal government not willing to address the issue, including a border czar currently running for the highest office in the land, who claims she's going to continue doing exactly what she's been doing. Oh boy, that slogan went over well, by the way. I wonder why Trump gained a point in the national polling recently. I wonder why there's a dead even heat at the moment. I can't even fathom it. Or mean tweets. Hurting somebody's fifis. Hurting somebody's fifis is, on an objective measure, I guess considered to be worse than little kids getting slaughtered or human trafficked by some people in the country. It's very interesting. Their moral standards are so highbrow, so erudite. They can't attack that. They can go after immigration. The only other thing is they can talk about what other people at the rally said. Oh, Puerto Rico's a trash dump. Well, yeah, the Puerto Rican government is legendarily corrupt. Puerto Rico suffers from a considerable amount of crime and poverty. This is a U.S. territory. It should become a state. I happen to be the odd man out among right-wingers, which I'm supposedly one of, even though I'm really not. And so I run up against people sometimes on that token. Oh my God, you're going to give the Dems 2 additional senators. Well, counterbalance it by allowing California to split into 2 states or something like that. Keep it even, Stevens. That's the Northern and Southern California or something like that. It's perfectly fine by me. It makes sense, too, for political reasons. You end up with a blue state, and then an extra red state, with a limited amount of representation in the House, but a couple of senators. It's even, fucking call it a day. The size and energy at this rally was extremely high. And so the problem for the legacy media is they have to plausibly explain to the American people the situation in which Trump can pull in so many people in a far blue enclave, by the way, stage a rally that goes off pretty much without a hitch, includes some funny lines, includes some funny quips, and actually has a platform. Unlike what we've seen from Kamala and her surrogates, generally speaking, there's not much of a platform there other than Trump is going to destroy your democracy and put you barefoot in the kitchen if you have a vagina. That's all we hear. So they have to resort to the same tired attacks on his immigration policies. And again, this is a challenge. Somebody do this. Take some quotes from Barack Obama or even Bill Clinton when they were running for office, especially in their first terms. Take some of their statements on immigration and copy them down and then ascribe them to Trump. And go up to a college kid, somebody who's got the problem glasses and the pink hair, and say, what do you think about this Donald Trump quote on immigration? Blah, 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 blah. And it'll sound exactly like Donald Trump because they did sound exactly the same. I matched it up at the time. When Donald Trump first ran and the immigration thing was looming large, I went back and I looked at quotes from people like Obama and Clinton, or Bush, fuck, Mitt Romney, basically anyone, Al Gore. They all sounded exactly the same. We need immigration in this country, says Obama, but they must come in legally. We need to fortify our border, and we need to protect our border. Legal immigrants, fine. Illegal immigration, you got to be warned you're going to be sent back. Did it ever materialize into a public policy? No, of course. The idea is that you talk a big game and then don't walk the walk once you're in office. What pisses them off about Trump is just that he followed through. That an attempt was actually made to do these things that all former politicians for the last fucking 40 years have been promising, all the way back from arguably before Ronald Reagan. Stimson, Mazzoli, and stuff like that. There was an actual carry-through. That's what pissed him off. They didn't care what Trump said during the election. They expected J.D. Vance, by the way, 100% right on this when he said it the other day in an interview, that the reason why there were so many shit-canned officials and people that resigned from the administration is they repeatedly failed to roll Donald Trump and control him. They all expected that he was going to be a classic politician. Well, that was all just bluster for the campaign to get the peons to vote for me. Now I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm El Presidente. I don't have to seal the border. It was an attempt. Liberals are chomping mad right now. Madison Square Nazi rally, immigrants, the dude who's not Donald Trump saying something off the cuff about Puerto Rico, clearly intended to be confined to a criticism of their territorial government, and then they're acting like, oh my god, Donald Trump hates Puerto Ricans. I don't think so. I don't think he really gives a damn, actually. He probably wishes Puerto Rico would become an outright state. He'd probably build a fucking Trump Tower over there, something, a big beach resort and a couple of golf courses, employing thousands of people. That's his MO. I wouldn't be surprised if after the presidency that's what he does, just to spite him. Or I get something going right off Pennsylvania Avenue in D.C., a nice big beautiful Trump Tower, with a giant picture of an eye on top looking down at the Capitol or something. That'd be his idea of trolling, by the way. I don't think he wants to go back to the swamp once he's done with it after 4 more years. I think he'd rather go back to the Mar-a-Lago. I know I would. Have you seen the Mar-a-Lago's interior? I think he could fit 2 or 3 White Houses inside of it. And he's like, oh, this White House thing is a little bit shabby. He's going to get some gold and marble decor all over the place or something maybe. So yeah, they're rambling. They're flailing right now. There's a lot of copium being huffed right now, and it's a little bit, you get a little bit woozy from the copium wafting off of these people at this point. That's about all. Peace out.